To start, we're going to have a review of the reported speech. Okay, we're going to explain when we don't use backshift and what happens with the adverbs and demonstratives. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Okay, well, so maybe you remember, right, we were talking about reported speech, but there are some things to consider. Okay, so we were talking about how we change the adverbs or the demonstratives in the reported speech. Okay, here. Okay, so remember that in reported speech, we have some words that we need to change so that it makes sense. We need to change, for example, words like this, here, today. Those are words that are not the same in when we report the sentence. So here we're going to have some exercises. We're going to see how we change the reported speech using a different word so that is so that the sentence makes sense and is more accurate. And then we're going to see when we don't use the reported speech, and finally the indirect questions. Okay, so checking this exercise, we were working on it yesterday. Okay, but I think we didn't do this part. Okay, from number 7, check. For example, it says Jason and Victoria. They said this: we will do our best in the exams tomorrow. Okay, so Jason and Victoria told me that, and first, you see, the first thing we need to change is we are going to change will. We, okay, first we. Why? Because when you report the sentence, you're not included in this group. You are not Jason, you are not Victoria. So you will change we by using they. Jason and Victoria told me that they. Okay, not we. So when we change reported speech, that's the first thing you need to check. Okay, they. And what happens with will? How do we report the sentence?
Is future continuous?
No. You only need to change will. Remember the chart that we checked a few days ago? Okay, so will. Check how will changes.
Would.
Would. Exactly. Very well. So they told me that they would. They would do. Okay, now here we have possessive. The possessive is our, but in the sentence, they would do their, because remember, you use reported speech. You are repeating what other person said. In this case, Jason and Victoria. And because you are not Jason and Victoria, but you are just repeating the sentence, so you need to change the pronouns. You change to they and you change to their. Best in the exams. And here we need to change another thing, because tomorrow doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So how do we change tomorrow? Okay, so here we have the help.
Today,
Okay, check it here. How do we change tomorrow?
next
The next day or the following day? Exactly. So the idea is that when you repeat the sentence, so imagine they say, we will do our best in the exams tomorrow. So you need to ask yourself, when do they say this? Are they saying this, for example, they say today. Today is March. Today is Tuesday, 17. Okay, so tomorrow it's Wednesday, Wednesday 18. So if you repeat this sentence the same day, which is today, you can use tomorrow. But imagine that you repeat the sentence in, I don't know, in 2 days, 2 weeks. So you say tomorrow and it will be confusing for the other person. Because this tomorrow refers to the time when they said this, but your time is different, right? They will do their best in the exams the next day. So saying this, there wouldn't be any problem. So it doesn't matter when you repeat the sentence, the next day is always a good sentence. Okay, let's check now number 8. Okay, number 8, please. Okay, now we're going to read. I would like to ask Itzel if you could help us with number 8. I don't know if you can turn on your microphone or if you can write on the chat. Okay, well, in that case, maybe we can ask Heidi, please. Let's read number 8 and try to change it so that the sentence makes sense.
okay, teacher. Andrew, we didn't eat fish 2 days ago. Andrew remarked that they didn't eat fish.
Exactly. Okay, so remark that they. Okay. Didn't, you can use didn't. If the sentence is too old, then maybe you can use the past perfect. Okay. Because backshift says that when you have simple past, you change it to past perfect. So you say they hadn't eaten. If it's recent, if it's something that happened, I don't know, yesterday. I mean, if the person says this recently, you can repeat the past.
Okay. It
Okay,
is
so we
correct to say
eaten.
hadn't been eaten, or is
Been, not been, because been would be the passive voice, right? You want to say no habían comido pez, but if you add been, sería no habían sido comidos.
okay.
So now you change and you mean that Andrew and other people, they were eating. So that's why we don't add
Okay.
been.
Yes. Eating fish.
Okay, so the expression ago, we need to change it to
Bef- Before?
Before. Yes. So you don't say, when you use reported speech, you don't say 2 days ago, you say 2 days before. 2 days ago was Sunday. Yeah.
Okay.
So imagine that they say this, Andrew, we didn't eat fish 2 days ago. So 2 days ago was Sunday.
Mhm.
They hadn't eaten fish 2 days before. Imagine you repeat the sentence and it's other day. It's not today, it's a different day. So yes, in this case, you would use the word before. Okay, it's to
Okay.
avoid confusion. Okay, let's
Okay.
see. In the next sentence, we have Monday, so we don't change it. We will just make a little modification. Okay, so I spent all my pocket money on Monday. Okay, pocket money will be like cash. Okay. Please, Miguel, can you read number 9 and help me write the sentence in reported speech?
Sorry, teacher, I tenía apagado el micrófono again.
No.
Alice, I spent all my pocket money on Monday. Alice complained that she had spent all his money on past Monday.
Okay, so what happens here? It says, sorry, it says, complained that she had spent all her money. Look, so
On last
yes, we
Monday?
change mine with her. And what happens on Monday?
Her,
You would say
her,
that
Monday.
Yes, very well, because on Monday could be a different Monday than when you say the sentence, right? So when you say that Monday, I'm referring to the Monday that Alice is talking about. If you repeat the expression with on, so it would be confusing. Okay, so
Okay.
yes, in reported speech, you need to modify the sentences so that they make sense. Please, I would like to ask now, Uriel, can you please help me read number 10? And we, okay, number 10, please. Try to change so it makes sense.
Okay. John had already gone at 6.
Mhm. Okay, so David said that. We repeat, right? He had already gone because the past perfect, and you don't use other tense before. So past perfect is the limit. David said that he had already gone at 6. Okay. Very well. Very well. So yeah, that's how it works. So I don't know if you have any questions related to reported speech.
Teacher, had, can you remember when we must to use had?
Have. Okay, have is in a topic that is called past perfect, and have is an auxiliary verb. So when you use this time with something happened before another past event. So here when you use had will be like había. Okay. Él se había ido or había gastado. Yes, that's had. What I told you is that when you have the simple past, so according to the to this chart, I think I reset to you on WhatsApp. Did I? Yes. Check. So we have the past simple. Okay. So it changes to past perfect. Okay. So the past perfect is the one that uses have. Okay. Yes, that is when we use have. Any other questions?
No, teacher, thank you.
Okay, very well. So that's it, guys. That's about the reported speech. So first thing is you need to memorize this for this chart, the backshift chart. It tells you how to change the sentences, right? Present, you change it to past. Present continuous to past continuous. Present perfect to past perfect. This is the formal and most correct way to do it. But remember, we also check in other class that you may choose not to change the tense. You can use the sentence without any change. Usually you can use this in any sentence, but in present, in simple present, in present continuous, and in simple past, it's not necessary to always change the sentences. So if you say, for example, something like, I love, something like, okay, I love summer. Okay, so you repeat what this person said. She said that she, and according to these rules, we need to say past, we need to use the past. She said that she loved summer. Yeah, she said that she loved summer. Okay, so in this case, you see that we have the simple past, but this makes some people confused according to the context, right? Because when you say ella dijo que ella amaba, so it could also mean that she doesn't love anymore. So maybe something changed. So in this case, you can leave the sentence like, she said that she loves summer. And there is no difference. You can say, she said that she loves summer. She said that she loved summer. No problem. Okay. Especially when the sentence is relevant for what you're saying. Okay. So no backshift is necessary. If you have a sentence in past, for example, I went to work. Okay, so you would say in reported speech, he said he had gone to work. This is the correct thing, right? Simple past, you change it to the past perfect. But it's not necessary. You can say he said he went to work. So backshift is something that we use in formal English for written English to be very correct, to be more precise. But if you want to speak to other people, well, you don't need to. It's not necessary. With other people, when you're speaking, friends, spoken English, you can use or not backshift. It's up to you. You check the example, for example, at the end, it says, I've broken my arm. Okay, so this event, if it's something recent, and we are repeating the sentence, so we don't change it, right? Just, she said she's broken her arm. Dijo que se ha roto el brazo. We don't change the sentence because it's something recent. So it depends It depends on you. When you repeat the sentence, we can be more flexible. Okay. So now we learned this. We learned about the changes. We need to be accurate when we speak. We usually change some words, like, for example, you got it here. These changes to those. Now changes to then. Yesterday changes to the day before. Tomorrow, if you have a sentence with tomorrow, you change it to the next day or the following day. Ago changes to before, and so on. Okay, so you need to be like changing the words so that they make sense. Good. Sorry. Okay, so let's continue then. The thing with reported speech, I think that we already checked a lot during this and last week. Now we're going to check the other topic, that is the indirect questions. Okay, so indirect questions are very similar to reported speech, but with the difference that you are not repeating and with the difference that you don't use backshift. Okay, what is an indirect question? An indirect question, you use it when you want to be more polite, when you want to be just like you want to say things like softer, you know? Okay, so here it is. We're going to check it. So it says, write the indirect questions for the witness of a robbery. Okay, so you can ask, for example, a direct question. I think we don't have the activity, but we can write it here. Okay, so what's your name? This is a direct question. What's your name? Okay, in a direct question, so you use the regular structure. Okay, what is the regular structure? So you would use WH question, then the auxiliary verb, then you would use the subject and another verb. For example, in the question, what is your name? Right? We follow this structure. But this question can be very direct, so you can tell something more polite. You can say, can you tell me? So you first use one of these expressions, like, can you tell me? Would you mind telling me? Can I know? May you inform? Okay. Can you tell me your name? You can say, may you tell me your name, or may you tell me what your name is? Okay, so this is an indirect question. This is more polite question. This is easier. What happened? Okay, we want to be more polite. I wonder, me pregunto. You can say, I wonder. In this case, we don't change anything. What happened? Just adding this. Because if you just arrive and say what happened, can be not very polite. Okay. In number 3, it says, when did the robbery take place? Remember, we are talking to a witness of a robbery. Someone was robbed. Okay, so when did the robbery take place? How could we change the sentence? So you can say, for example, can you tell me? Can you tell me? So this question, you will make it more polite. Starting with the fact that you don't use the auxiliary, you don't use the WH questions, you would say, can you tell me when the robbery took place. Can you tell me when the robbery took place? What happened in this question? Look what I did. First, you see in the normal question, you have did. In the indirect questions, you don't have did. Why? Because when you use indirect questions, you don't use the structure of a question. You use it as an affirmation. So I said, when the robbery took place. Okay. When did the robbery took place? I change it and I make an indirect question. So the indirect question doesn't need the auxiliary did. Okay. Let's see. We're going to practice with the next one, number 4. Please, Uriel, how will you change the sentence? How will you change sentence 4 to a indirect question?
Did you do anything to try stop the robbers?
Okay, let's use, can you tell me?
Can you tell me, do you do anything to try to stop the robbers?
In this case, you see, we don't have WH. So what we do is we add if. Can you tell me if? Can you tell me if you
You do?
did? Why? Because it's in past. Okay, can you tell me if you did anything to try to stop the robbers? Sorry. Okay. So check what we did in this sentence. The sentence is in past, right? The question is, did you do anything to try to stop the robbers? But this question is direct. I want to make it indirect question. So, can you tell me if you did? Me puede decir si usted hizo algo para intentar detener a los ladrones. So, in this way, is an indirect, more polite question. You see, we have here auxiliary verb did. Here, you don't have auxiliary verb. You write the verb do in simple past, just like here, right? When did the robbery take place? So you don't write did, you write take in past, took. Okay, let's see, number 5, please. Let's see, with Heidi. Were you frightened? Frightened means scared. Okay, how can we ask this question in an indirect way?
Can you tell me if you are frightened?
If you were.
You were frightened?
Can you tell me if you were frightened?
Yes.
Very well. Excellent. Very well. Okay, so this is how we use the reported reported speech in the indirect questions. We're going to see more examples. Okay, so let's think about a situation. Okay. What questions are common when reporting? Okay. Check the next questions. These are some questions that to ask when reporting on disasters. Okay, so like right now there is there are problems around the world because of Israel and Palestine, and now they're in a war, and it's a very bad situation. In Turkey, is like a year ago, there was an earthquake, a terrible earthquake, and well, there are more and more disasters. So these are some questions. Check the first question. These are direct questions. Okay. Okay, so here it is. Where did the relief money go? This is the first question. ¿A dónde se fue el dinero de la ayuda, right? Relief money is like the money that they give, is a donation to help the people that are in a hurry, that are in a problem. So first says, where did the relief money go? Okay, so in an indirect question, I would write, would you mind telling me, for example, le importaría decirme, would you mind telling me where do I write the auxiliary did? No, because it's an indirect question. So, would you mind telling me where the relief money went? You see? Why? Because here you have did auxiliary, because this is a traditional question. This is more polite. Would you mind telling me where the relief money went? You don't write auxiliary verb. And where the choke points that stop the flow are, okay, you have the question. Here it says, who are the key figures in the distribution chain? Can you tell me who the key figures in the distribution chain are? Who has oversight? Can you tell me who has oversight? Have emergency provisions of food been stolen or diverted to black market economies? So you could say, can you tell me if emergency provisions of food have been stolen or diverted to black market economies? Okay, imagine that you are reporters and you will report this for your news company that you work for, and a disaster has just happened, so you need to ask a person from the government, an important authority, but you want to be polite. Okay, so here you have a direct question. So you go to the Mr. Politician, and a disaster just passed, and it says, you want to ask this question: was the disaster made worse by human actions before and after the event? Okay, so you want to ask the politician or the authority, and you want to be polite. So you say, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, Prime Minister, excuse me, I don't know, the authority. Excuse me, could you tell me? Okay, and please, Uriel, how can you write this sentence in indirect question? The question is, was the disaster made worse by human actions? ¿El desastre se empeoró por acciones humanas before and after the event? Now we write the sentence in indirect question.
Excuse me, could you tell me if the disaster made worse by human actions?
Good. Excuse me. Could you tell me if the disaster was made? Good. Could you tell me if the disaster was made worse? Good. Very well. Okay, the next one. Could the disaster have caused leaks or toxic contamination from nearby sites? ¿Podría el desastre haber causado derrames o contaminación tóxica en sitios cercanos? Heidi, how can you make this question indirect?
Yes, teacher. Excuse me, could you tell me if the disaster caused leaks or toxic contamination from nearby sites?
Could you tell me, or can you tell me, you choose, if the disaster could have caused leaks, etc. Exactly. Could you tell me if the disaster could have caused? What is the meaning could have caused? This is a possibility in the past. Podría haber causado. Could have caused. Yes. Okay, so this, when you say could have caused, you're talking about a possibility in the past. Okay. Let's see, number 4. Okay, it says, was the death toll exacerbated by corruption or cronyism? La tasa de muerte, o sea, el número de muertos fue exacerbado, like, it was raised. Se aumentó el número, más bien, se limitó el número por corrupción o cronismo. I'm not sure what is that. Okay, let's see. We're going to ask Miguel, how can we write this question in an indirect way?
Can you repeat me, please, teacher?
Yes, don't worry. In this question, please, just we're going to make it indirect.
Okay. Could you tell me if the deed toll was had exacerbated by corruption or cronyism?
Okay, so cronism, it's like nepotismo. Okay, so could you tell me if the death toll was exacerbated? Okay, Uriel, please, number 5 says, what does the data say about problems at emergency management agencies or disparities in disaster assistance? ¿Qué dice la información acerca de los problemas en emergencia y en tratamiento de emergencias o de las agencias que tratan las emergencias o disparidades en asistencia de desastre? Okay, so here, what does the data say about problems at emergency? How can you make this question indirect? So you can say, excuse me, can you tell me what Okay, or anyone else? What do you think? Can you tell me what? In this case, you have does, auxiliary verb, but you don't need it.
I'm not sure, but I think, can you tell me what does the day say about problems at emergency?
Okay, but careful because it's indirect question, so you don't use does. You don't use auxiliary verb. So can you tell me what the data says? Okay, so you don't say, can you tell me what does? No, you don't use does because it's indirect question. So can you tell me what data says about problems? So you see, you change it. What does the data say? Can you
Okay.
tell me what the data says? Okay, very well.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
So that is for the indirect questions. This is how we use it. And well, I think that we checked this yesterday. Okay, we will be just this. Okay, now we have some conjunctions to help you to give reasons to something. I'm going to show you some words that you use when you give reasons, like when you give explanations. Now, imagine that you are this politician and you are going to explain, right, what happened. So you can use some expressions like in order to. In order to. What is in order to? Well, it's simply a very formal way of saying to, es decir, para. For example, Prime Minister, why did, can you tell me why the money was used? I don't know, any question. So you get this person would answer, in order to, and the reason. I don't know, in order to save lives. Okay. Para salvar vidas. In order to is an expression that is formal, that you can say to save lives, yes. But in order to is more formal. Okay. Or you could say, so that we could save lives. Para que pudiéramos salvar vidas. So that. So that igual es como, ¿para qué? The difference with in order to is that in order to, you use a verb immediately after to. In so that, you need to write a sentence. So that we, subject, verb. So that we could save lives. Okay. What other expressions you can use? Well, you could have in order to, so that, you could say, well, we have these expressions, thus, hence. Okay. Thus, I don't know if you've heard this expression, but it's like tal que. Okay. Es como de esta forma. Okay. For example, we could say, we sent, I don't know, we sent firefighters to the building. Thus, lives were saved. Es como de esta forma o así salvamos vidas. Okay. We sent firefighters to the building. Thus, lives were saved. Okay. So you can use the same. You can use thus to explain something. Okay. Hence is exactly the same as thus. Right? Es como así, de tal forma, por lo cual, you can use like hence. We could say, I don't know. Groceries and money were sent to the affected ones, to the affected families. Hence, they could overcome the disaster. Se envió dinero a las familias afectadas y comida. De esa forma pudieron sobrellevar el desastre. Okay, disaster. So you see, we can use hence, you can use thus when you explain. Okay, you could also use therefore, it's another one. Therefore también es como de tal forma o así, por consiguiente, therefore. You can use thus, therefore, or hence. They are similar. Thus, hence, or therefore. Okay. So, do you have any questions about these expressions?
No, teacher. Thank you.
Very well. So this is we learned right about the about reported speech. We check the indirect questions and we check also this part. Okay, very well. So here we have some practice. Here we have an exercise. I think we can work on it. Okay, please help me, Miguel. Just check number 1, please, and try to use the correct connector.
Yes, teacher. I used to tell stories in order to make my friends laugh.
Very well. So I used to tell stories in order to. Very well. Heidi, please, number 2.
Yes, teacher. The thief not only lied about his actions, but he also asked his friend to leave.
Okay, so here there is another expression, and that's like to include many factors. You have not only the thief not only lied about his actions, no solo mintió, but also he also asked his friends to lie. So when you use the expression not only, but also, it's like saying in addition. He did this and other things. Please, Uriel, help me with the number 3.
Did you follow that man so that you could help solve the mystery?
Very well. So that. Heidi, help us with number 4.
Yes, teacher. The book was not only old, but also valuable.
Valuable. Exactly. And finally, please, Miguel, number 5.
Yes, teacher. We told the truth so that not get in trouble.
Can you repeat again? What do you say? In order to or so that?
so that.
Sorry, in this case, we say in order to. You use in order to when you have immediately a verb. Okay. In number 3, we use so that because you have you. Okay. So you have a person and you have the verb. In this case, we don't have a person. We just have the verb. So even though so that and in order to, they mean the same, you will use so that when you have the person and verb, and you use in order to when you only have a verb. So we told the truth in order to not get in trouble. Dijimos la verdad para no meternos en problemas. Very well.
Thank you.
So I just would like to know, do you have any questions about these expressions, about this explanation, how to use in order to, not only, but also so that, thus, hence? No questions?
Thank you.
Excellent. So with this, we will finish the class. Thank you for joining, and well, see you the next one. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank
teacher.
you very much.
See you. Have a good day.